In the 30s, the neurosurgeon Wilder Penfield pioneered a daring new kind of cartography. Touching an electrode to exposed brains of his awake consenting patients, he followed where the nerve tracked. Did it go to the forearm, the arm, the hand? He also mapped where it went into the abdomen via the vagus nerve. Today, the vagus nerve is a massive, meandering network of more than 1,000 fibers that travel from nearly every internal organ to the base of the brain and back again, creating that loop of sensory and motor function. Vagus, 80% sensory, 20% motor. This two-way communication is known as interoception. Interoception. It is a complex, body-wide system of nerves and hormones. We've known that the vagus nerve carries signals between organs and the brain stem. As part of the parasympathetic nervous system, active when the body is at ease or recovering from stress, the vagus regulates autonomic functions such as heart rate, breathing, digestion. But new studies have shown that signals carried by the vagal fibers climb beyond the brain stem, revealing a broad interoceptive network in the brain that interprets internal changes, anticipates the body's needs, and sends commands to fulfill them. The network includes brain regions in the more complex cognition, which means the nerves monitoring the body's basic workings also respond to and influence how we remember, we process emotion, and even construct our sense of self. This paper shows in a mouse study the innervation of the neuropod cell within the intestine, in the vessels of the aorta to help control blood pressure by dilatation, in the larynx, a group of neurons depending on the airway and triggering coughing, all by vagus nerve. It goes on to say that the evidence of interoception holds keys to both physical and emotional well-being and makes the vagus a tantalizing therapeutic target. Vagus nerve stimulation, which delivers pulses of electricity to the vagus through a device implanted under the collarbone, is already approved by the U.S. to treat epilepsy and depression. Now, we are going to show in our lectures that we stimulate the celiac plexus and doming of the diaphragm, innervation of the vagus nerve to stimulate parasympathetic function, while at the same time relaxing sympathetic function of the upper thoracic spine. This paper goes on to say, now get this, that the vagal cell types, including cells that control breathing and triggering cough, sense changes in blood pressure and oxygen, detect stretching and nutrients in the digestive system. I read here that it was interesting that they put a pill into people that would emit vibrations. And as that pill went through the GI tract, they could watch the vagal impulses within the brain in various parts of the brain stimulated via the vagus nerve from various parts of the GI system. So these studies that are going on about vagal stimulation, I plan to present these in lecture at the next afferentation lecture that I give in our didactic certification course. We will actually treat the diaphragm, the celiac plexus, the jugular foramen at the brain stem where the vagus nerve exits the skull. And we will have excitement about understanding the research.
Thank you for joining this month's Cox Research Pearls podcast with Dr. James Cox. We look forward to sharing more exciting spine news with you next month.